Hello and welcome, everyone. I am here with you. I've been with you on the chat, so I feel like we're already completely engaged. And I'm just so, honestly, my heart is just, I'm so excited because just seeing all the lovely familiar names, we're getting such a beautiful community. And of course, happy New Year, happy 2023. I had to think there for a minute, is it? Yes, it is. It's definitely 2023. I have so much that I want to go through with you here this evening. This is an incredibly important 60 minutes or so. It may go on a little bit longer, and the reason for that is because I have so much I want to do with you this evening. So please do have your pens and your papers, your paper ready. So before we begin, as you know, many of you are regular. If you're new to the community, you're so welcome. In fact, we had a lot of new people signing up for this webinar in particular. So welcome, and I hope to really guide you, not just this evening, but all through 2023 for positive mental health. So those of you who are very familiar with my work will know that I love to start everything with some mindfulness, with really slowing things down, pausing before we start. So please do close the doors, get away from your families, unless they're with you on this, you're really welcome. But really devote this time for yourself. It's so important. It really could be the most important hour of 2023. So keep that in mind as we're going to simply just close down the eyes. So allowing your eyes to gently close. We're going to take a full 7 deep breaths. And each breath is a message to your body, your subconscious, and your conscious mind to set the intention of what is important now, of being here in this space for you, to get clarity on what you want to feel, on what you want to feel for 2023 and beyond. So when you're ready, just placing your hands perhaps on your belly, take a full breath in through the nose. Feel the belly rise, hold, and a long exhale through the mouth. As you exhale, I want you to imagine you're clearing and you're cleansing and you're letting go. Let's do that again for 6. Letting go with the exhale. Breathing in with intention for 5. Slow, long exhale. 4. 3. 2. 'Make this the deepest yet of 2023 for 1. Long exhale. Pause. Gently opening up the eyes, taking your time, opening up the eyes, and we will commence. So I'm going to talk you through the agenda that I have here for this evening. So you should be able to see there on your screens the slide. So the first thing is the housekeeping. Now, you are brilliant at the chats, so I want you to keep those chats coming because they really help. They help everybody. They help me to really read where you're at and what you need. But what's lovely about this work is that it also helps everybody else in the community to open up. You know, there's for Patricia, for example, I'm hoping to mend my wounded heart. Thank you for sharing that, Patricia. The more that we share, the more that we help each other. And that's what this space is all about. So the housekeeping is basically, have a pen and paper, because it is a workshop. As you know, in most of the building emotional resilience, in fact, all of them to date, are me interviewing a special guest. But this evening is actually much more of a practical workshop. It's very interactive, so I'm going to really require your engagement as much as possible. I'm going to share with you my manifesting story, which is something that I want to really show you that this is something I've been doing myself personally for, my goodness, I'd say 10 years at least, and how effective I have found it, and exactly the steps that I use to create positive outcomes in my life, both externally, but most importantly, internally. Before I move on, I also just want to say thank you so much to everybody here who has donated for this evening. You've no idea how helpful that is, because our mission, one of our missions at The Positive Habit, is to help as many people as we can, regardless of their income. So every time that you donate, you're actually helping somebody who can't afford to. So I want to thank everyone here for doing that. It's really, really so greatly appreciated, and you're helping us to help everyone. So thank you. I really appreciate that. So then we're going to move on from my manifesting story. We're going to look at the 5 questions that you need to ask yourself for what is an overarching intention. So I'll explain what an overarching intention is. We're going to set our overarching intentions for 2023. And then I will explain how important that is in terms of how that actually starts to bring things out into terms of more practical ways that you can start to implement steps towards manifesting. So everything is really, really linked here this evening. Intentions and manifesting are like, they're like, I don't know what they are, brother and sister. You know, I was going to say a Big Mac and fries, but that's probably not the best example. You know what I'm saying? They go really, really well together. They're like me and Kieran. There you go. That's a better example. I don't even know why I'm talking about McDonald's. I think I saw something on Emily in Paris. They were talking about McDonald's. That's where that came from. So anyway, yes. So I'm going to then talk about how every action has an intention. I'll go into that. I also really want to help you look at why willpower doesn't work and how we need to get into the subconscious to really make powerful, positive, and sustainable shifts, because quite often many people will hit walls, and we've all been there, where you may have the best of intentions, but you know, within time, and usually it's about the 3rd week in January, that those best of intentions start to fail and people give up. But not this year. That's not going to happen to anyone who's here with me live or watching this recording. This is a completely different and unique approach where there's no way you're going to be giving up, because we're working on a very, very different level. We're going to look at the 5 steps to manifesting, the ones that I have used myself, and also looking at the science of manifesting, because there's a lot of people. I'd just be interested, actually, one of the questions in the polls, if you haven't already answered the polls, please do. One of the questions there is it's basically, do you believe in the power of manifesting? So we've got 77% saying yes, and only 22% say they're skeptical. Okay, so that's what I wanted to find out. That's really helpful to me to know. So keep the votes coming in there. There's lots more of you here online, so please do vote. And basically, you know, I think that it can get a bad rap. It can sort of, in many ways, be sort of preying on vulnerable people in a way that if you just wish something, if you're just positive about it, if you just think about it, it's going to happen. And really, that is just not what it is at all. And I'm going to be going into a little bit of science that helps us, of what we know to date in terms of how we can back this up with some evidence. Then I will talk about the obstacle is the way. And that's something that isn't often sort of referred to in terms of manifesting, but it is something that I think is so integral, and also will help you to not get those blocks where in the past you might have given up when you came across challenges. Because believe me, challenges are inevitable and part of life. And as that phrase, that well-known catchphrase now illustrates, it is in fact often the way forward. Kieran, then, my lovely husband and partner in the business, is going to come on just for a few moments, and he's going to just share some of the plans that we have for 2023. One of my intentions in 2023 is to help as many people as I possibly can, and that will sort of me doing more group work. And one of the wonderful things that I have this year is called Therapy on the Couch. that many of you will have known from Instagram, but it's now going to be done online in Zoom and a whole new format. So that's something that Kieran will be able to talk to you a bit about as well. And then at the very end, as if that isn't enough, I'm going to do our manifesting hypnotherapy. This is where we start to really bring everything together. All the work that we've done this evening will actually be put into that lovely magical hypnotherapy. And I want you to be as comfortable as you can for this. I want you to have the doors closed, no disturbance, get a nice, like it's January, we want our blankets, we want to be cozy, we want to be warm. So this is 100% time just for you. So without further ado, my manifesting story. So I want you to just imagine that it is Christmas 2018. And you know that week before Christmas, we're not long out of it now, but that week before Christmas where basically everybody's meeting up, the bars are so busy and you're catching up with people that you haven't seen probably in maybe all year. So it was Christmas 2018 and I was going to meet some friends that some of them I hadn't seen in quite a long time. And one of the girls in the group was really nice. And she was like, Fiona, I heard you on the radio, or I saw an article. She'd seen something I'd done. She goes, you're doing so well. That's fantastic. And I was like, oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I said, I'm really delighted. Things are going really well. I love my work, etc. And I said, oh, and I'm writing a book. And she was like, really? Oh my goodness, that's amazing. And I said, yeah, no, I'm really excited about it. And she said, wow, like, and who's publishing it? And I said, well, I don't have a publisher, I said, yet. And she was like, right, oh, okay. And I could see that she was kind of like, am I a Walter Mitty or what's going on? However, what I was doing at that point was I had decided that I wanted to write a book. I'd already decided that. In fact, I'd already been turned down by one publisher to my recollection. Yes, I had. I'd put in a proposal that hadn't been successful. But I had said, and I really 100% said, I'm going to write this book and it's going to be published next year in 2019. That was my 100% mission. And what I was doing was actually manifesting that into reality because I was so convinced that this girl was like she thought I was mad because I hadn't actually got the book deal yet. And yet is a really important word. So I proceeded to do everything I could in my power to get the book published, to meet people, to put the word out there, to use whatever contacts I had. And by February of 2019, 6 weeks later, I had secured that book deal with one of Ireland's leading nonfiction book publishers, which is Gale Books. And I was just absolutely over the moon. And part of that story was how each step of it, I was working really hard in terms of, I remember getting up at 6 a.m. every morning before seeing my clients and working on the proposal. And then I continued to do that when I wrote the book. But I also was visualizing and imagining, like literally to the detail of the day when I knew that the publishers were having their meeting. They have these monthly meetings where they discuss different proposals and authors, etc. And I remember, going through it in my head. I kind of knew roughly what time was going to happen. I was imagining the room. I was imagining the people in the room. I was imagining them saying, what do you think about this book now? And the truth was, I didn't have a huge amount to go on in terms of numbers and followers and all of those things that publishers do look for. So I really had to invest so much faith, so much belief in this. And then I even remember now the moment I got, I think it was an email I got saying, good news, Fiona, we've decided to go ahead with your book. And just that feeling of absolute elation was already there because I was already convinced that this was going to happen. So to fast forward today to nearly 4 years later, my book, The Positive Habit, this book that I manifested, that I worked really hard for, that I used my imagination, that I felt the positive emotion before it was even born into the world, is still doing so incredibly well. It's number 2 in eSINs at the moment in the book charts. It's a really strong backlist book, and it has helped thousands and thousands of people. So I share that with you to just show you and to really inspire and encourage you how if I can do it, believe me, any of us can do it. We all have this within us. It just requires the different steps that I've kind of talked about there, but I'm going to break them down for you in much more detail. So with that in mind, just park manifesting for a moment, okay? And let's look at an overarching intention and how those things are actually linked, okay? So what I want you to do is to really start to look more towards the feelings that you want to create within inside you. So already the chat has been really good in terms of, I can see you're such an amazing audience, because I can see that so much of what you understand is already, I'm not saying I want to lose 3 stone or I want to, whatever, get promoted, or there's nothing wrong with those things, but I can see that you're already, just reading the chat, I can see that you're already on the right path here in terms of looking at how important it is that our intention is internal, of how we want to feel, because how we feel is actually what creates those external results. So we've got to keep putting the focus on that. An overarching intention is something that becomes like a sort of springboard, if you like, for your success. It becomes a reference point where all of your decisions come back to that intention. So this is why it's so important, because what you want to be really sure of is clarity of what that intention is. Okay, because what you want is to make sure that everything aligns to that overarching intention. Okay, you want to make sure that the decisions that you make, the people that you spend time with, the way that you live your life is for you. And it is coming from that really clear intention. Because if we're not clear on our intention, if we're not really making it so specific as to what is right for you, and I think that one of the regrets, top regrets of the dying, is that people don't live a life that's true to themselves. They live a life that is to somehow make other people happy, whether that's society, whether it's family, whether it's parents, whether it's children. And you owe it to yourself to be really clear on what you want, because that is actually the most selfless thing that you can do. And quite often people will have the ideas of what they want, and when they share it with loved ones or in the wider community, they feel maybe that they're somehow, this is, it's shot down. I don't know if you've ever felt like that, but somebody, like, for example, the book, when I'm and you're going to really, and you haven't done it yet, and why are you even telling me? And you have to be so tenacious in what it is that you want, and to not let anyone else's opinion stand in your way. That's integral. That's so important. And it's not that other people are trying to block your progress. It's more often about their own sense of fear, or maybe it's something within themselves that they haven't fully explored or understood. But it's really important, especially if you are suggestible to other people around you, if you're comparing yourself to others, if your self-esteem is in any way low, you've just got to be, it's almost like a target. It's like the darts, right? It's like a dartboard. You are sticking to that, and nothing anybody says or doesn't say, no matter what research you look up and people say, oh, you can't do this, you keep your focus clear. And that is very important. With an overarching intention as well, as much as we talk about other people maybe sort of hindering our progress or being influenced by other people, quite often what I've noticed in my work is that it's quite often ourselves that stand in our way. Okay, so yes, we can be influenced by other people, but we can also block our own progress. And the reason for that predominantly is fear. So when we're in a fear-based place, we're not going to be able to make progress. We're going to be narrow. Our thinking is narrow. We're not going to see opportunities. And that's why this work this evening is so important, because when you move into a positive framework, frame, you start to see things that you can't see when you're stuck in that negativity bias. So just to keep in mind that idea that, are you blocking your own progress? And quite often, one of the questions actually I have on the polls there is procrastination. Do you procrastinate? And we've got 80% of you saying yes. So procrastination is generally either a fear of failure or a fear of success. And to be honest, they're the same thing. Okay, when you really start to examine it, they're actually coming from the same place, and that is a fear of being seen in some way. Okay, so we can procrastinate and hold ourselves back, or we can sort of maybe overperform and not really be true to ourselves. So that's where somebody is a high achiever but burning themselves out. So this is something just to be very aware of, and everything I'm saying is just to start asking yourself these questions, because the more that we ask ourselves questions, the more that we learn, and the more that we start to move away from the unconscious bias or the decisions that are being made in the unconscious and the subconscious mind, and we start to make them into the conscious mind and much more aware. Awareness is key, as we know, in everything, and that's why intentions are so integral. Okay, so get your pens and your papers ready, and we're going to start to answer the 5 questions now. Okay, so over the next 12 months, if you've already done this, that's great, but I want you to do it again just to see what comes up for you. And for the sake of this evening, I want you to just answer in one word. So how do you want to feel when you rise in the morning? And we can put this into the chat as well, but please do write it down for yourself, because at the end of this session, I want you to have your overarching intention. So over the next 12 months, how do you want to feel when you rise in the morning? Do you want to feel happy, energized, calm, open, enthusiastic, confident? How do you want to feel when you rise in the morning? So write that word down. Let's see if we can get them coming in. Confidence, says Kira. Okay, Marion, we are our own worst enemy. Yes, we can be, but we don't have to. We can be our own best friend as well. And that's really so much of actually the work I do, is helping people to be their own best friends, Marion. Okay, so let's see. Energized, positive. Mary says content, lovely. Mick, how are you? Optimistic, I like it. Fiona, optimistic, lovely to have another Fiona. Joyful. Sharon says motivated. Iona, how are you? Full of energy and enthusiasm, happy and healthy, lovely. Grania, so lovely to have you. Happy. Gail, bright, I love it. You are so bright, Gail. Aoife, peaceful. Marion, motivated. Okay, great. So let's keep that word, write it down. Okay, we're doing good here, lads. We're doing great. And I'm going to move on to the next question. Okay, smiling more. That's lovely, Miriam. That's really nice. Energized, at ease with myself. I think that's so important, Helen. That's lovely. Okay, so what kind of energy do you want to have as you go through your day? Now, this is actually important to think about. Let's say your typical working day, okay, like your, or not, maybe it's not a job, but sort of your general routine, whatever it is that you are going through each day. Maybe it's being with family, kids, looking after parents, whatever it is that you're doing. What kind of energy do you want to have, but also what kind of energy do you need? You know, what is it that's actually going to help you to go through that day? So Anne is saying calm, lovely, keep them coming. Focused, says Neve. Yeah, definitely. Balanced, Fiona. These are fantastic words, okay? And I just want you to notice how important they are, because they're really starting to shape things for you. Looking forward to the day ahead. Mary says positive. Patience, says Margaret. Calm. Got 3. Don't worry, that's all right. Like, it's Leslie, you that's no problem at all. But for the sake of this, we're going to just keep it simple. But the more the better. You can write them down for yourself. Mindful, positive. Therese says patient. Mick, fulfilling. Okay, so you need to have fulfilling energy. You need to be uplifting, says Leona. To flow, brilliant. Yes, okay. To have an energy of self-belief, says Deirdre. Lovely. Confident. Okay, brilliant. To exude positive energy. I love it, Bernadette. Well, even those words, you're doing it already. Loving, kind, and focused. Hi, Brita, how are you? Calm energy. Okay, being in control. Great. Okay, so we've got that. Start to picture this. Start to imagine yourself waking up with that energy, whatever it was your word is, and then start to see yourself going through your day with that energy as well. Okay, so we're moving to question 3. How do you want to feel as you drift to sleep? Okay, so again, just one word. What is it that you need? Like when you think about sleep, right? What is it that we're doing? We're actually, to me, it's all about letting go. It's the ultimate surrender, isn't it? You're just releasing. So keep that in mind. How do you want to feel? What do we need to feel to let go, to go to sleep? We need to feel at ease, I would say. We need to feel peaceful, relaxed, satisfied. That's lovely. Yes, happy, fulfilled, relaxed, beautiful. Do you start to notice something that's happening here? I don't know if you're noticing, but I'm really feeling it. Is that the more that we start to hear these words, the more we start to feel them. We're actually already doing what we need to do, and that is changing on a neuroplastic level within our subconscious minds just by writing and hearing and being exposed to all these positive words. It's already starting to happen. Grateful, yeah, Helen, that's one that I actually really work on personally to cultivate, because I find at night in particular, when you just open up to that warmth, I find gratitude is a very warm feeling, and when you feel that warmth, you feel relaxed, and the gratitude just helps you to drift off, to go to sleep. Peaceful, contented, blessed, beautiful, relaxed, at peace. Okay, yes. And we want a mind, don't we, that when you think about not worrying, says Valerie, but what you really want is a mind that is actually still. You want a mind that is with very quiet mind, a peaceful mind. People are saying I'm frozen. Okay. Cam, frozen screen. Okay. I'm not sure what to do about that. Okay. I am frozen. Kieran, what do you think, sweetheart? Hopefully I'll come back on in a minute. What I might do is leave and come back in. Okay. Kieran? I will leave. Oh, back now. Back in action. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Oh, my goodness. Apologies. I was about to leave and come back on. So, great. I'm glad I'm back. Okay. How do I want to feel? I want to feel calm, relaxed. This is all part of the fun, isn't it? Okay, I'm delighted. Still frozen, says Breda. Content, says Sarah. Hopefully I'm coming back to most of you. Kieran, you give me the thumbs up there. Okay, still frozen, back now. Okay. Signed out and back in and it worked. Okay, now Fiona, thank you everyone. You're so good. Okay, I'm going to keep going. We'll just keep flowing and going, okay? No sound. Must be a network problem. Is the sound okay for everybody else? Yeah? Sound okay? Yeah, okay. So we'll move on to question number 3. Okay, now you just need to refresh, okay? Okay. Sorry about this, guys. I really sorry about that. But anyway, I'm manifesting and seeing it all going smoothly. Let's do that for the rest of it. So number 4, how do you want other people to feel when they are in your company? And again, this is something we don't often really think about, but it's so important that before you go into any space, whatever it is to have that intention in your mind of how do you want the people around you to feel in your company? Because when you are clear on that, you're giving obviously yourself a gift because you're creating a positive energy, but you are also giving 100% the people around you an amazing gift. I love that, Diane, to feel accepted. I think that's so crucial that people feel accepted, especially our family members, because those are the ones that, you know, we can struggle with mostly in terms of how close we are. So that idea of, you know, how you want your best friend to feel, how you want the person who serves you coffee to feel, how you want your colleagues to feel, how you want every single person that you come into contact with, what is it you want them to feel? Iona says inspired. Fiona says heard. That's lovely, right? These are all really, really positive things. And again, as you will probably know from my work, often it's about bringing it back to yourself, right? So if you want, for example, that example of Fiona's to be heard, there's a need in there for you also to hear yourself, okay? So that you start to create that energy for yourself, and then that is what will in turn help other people to feel it from you. I hope they feel loved, says Breda. That's really nice. Like they matter, says Jennifer. Relaxed and at ease. Gorgeous, everybody. These are really important things. So writing them down step by step. We're moving on to, that's lovely, Bernadette, to be listened to. You're just brilliant, guys. I'm so happy with all of your amazing comments and feedback. So number 5, and again, this is where we're really starting that overarching intention and starting to reach out beyond yourself. And this is integral to manifesting. If you think about my own story and the book that I wrote, the whole thing, one of the main things that I was actually visualizing was it helping people. I could imagine people sleeping better. I could imagine people feeling, having better relationships. I started to really use that, the power of the imagination, to see how it's going to help the community at large, to help the world to be a better place. So how can you serve others to the best of your ability? It's a brilliant question to ask yourself, not just once, not just today, not just here, but every single day. To have that in the forefront of your mind is going to help you to create so much happiness in the world. So answering that now, how can you serve others to the best of your ability? What can you do to help others? To be present, Miriam. Yes, 1000%. I think that is probably at the cornerstone of it, because when we're present, we create a whole different energy. Anne says presence as well. Christine, authentic. Yeah, absolutely. We all love it when people are, you know yourself when someone is being truly open with you, being honest, being vulnerable. That's how we connect. Carrie says, by believing in myself, speaking my truth, being mindful. Guys, you are on fire. You're fantastic. This is all exactly the kind of words and ideas that I really want for you. Tatiana says to use my empathy and ability to communicate, to connect with others. Amputees and others with disability like myself. Tatiana, that sounds really good and so important. So you can see there is an intention that goes beyond Tatiana, and how from her own situation she's able to help others in that same challenging place. So that's fantastic. Leona, to be truthful, authentic and inspirational. Warmth, Gail, lovely. Okay, so this is something that I want you should now have 5 positive words. Okay, so you write them down. Okay, and when you've written them down, what you now have is your overarching intention. Okay, so let's say, for example, it is, I want to wake up in the morning feeling happy. So it is my intention in 2023 to be happy. And the second question was, how do I want to the energy through the day? Maybe it is to be confident. So it is my intention in 2023 to be happy and confident. How do you want to feel as you drift to sleep? Is to be relaxed. Perhaps, how do you want other people to feel? I want people to be accepted. So again, you add that. So you can see where I'm going. You've got 5 positive intentions there, words, feelings, emotions, breathed by being my own person at all times. Beautiful. Okay, so to renew my Tai Chi, and oh wow, Sharon, your Tai Chi, oh my God, wow, I'd love to do some Tai Chi, that's amazing. Okay, so yes. So when you have that, it is like, this is my intention for 2023. That's your overarching intention. Put it somewhere. Okay. I want you to keep this really close to your heart, to your head, to your soul, to your body, to practically, physically, emotionally, mentally, every way that you can. You know, practical ways that you can do that is, it can be a post-it note on your computer. It can be on your screensaver. It can be somewhere that when you beside your bed, when you brush your teeth. One of the things I have in the positive habit is that you have your affirmations there on the mirror. So it starts to become really part of your everyday life. Again, it's about habit and it's about being practical. Okay, so with that in mind, we have our overarching intention, okay? And you can see the different steps that we're going through here. Every action has an intention, okay? So every single thing that we do has an intention, whether, and this is the point that's very important, whether we realize it or we don't, okay? So if we don't realize that our intention is clear, it is an unconscious intention, and an unconscious intention can be one that causes harm, that is not serving you to the best of your ability, that isn't helping you to move towards whatever it is that you desire, whatever it is that you're manifesting. So keeping in mind that before you do anything, whatever it is, big, small, significant, or it seems insignificant, take the time before you do it to set an intention. So it's like a micro intention of everything. You're meeting a friend for coffee. Maybe your friend's gone through a hard time. Maybe she's getting divorced. Maybe she's struggling in her career. What is your intention? Have it in your mind. And when you do that, you are, Marion said the mirror, exactly. Using the mirror is very important as well. It's something that I do every day. And a lot of this intention setting comes from Oprah Winfrey, who is very, very adamant about living intentionally and how she would set intentions and does set intentions for pretty much everything that she does. And it's a very, very good habit to get into. It's like literally black and white in terms of how it transforms everyday interactions. It could be just your dinner at home with your family. You might be feeling a bit tired, maybe you've had a really hard day at work, and you just are completely drained. But having that awareness and then saying, well, is it my intention to kind of offload that, or is it my intention to maybe take some time to rest, to be present, to be mindful, and to bring an energy that is calmer, more positive to the dinner table, for example. So I'm just really want to illustrate just how important it is that you break it down, okay, into those, what doesn't have to be a big thing. It doesn't have to be like getting a book published or doing a big presentation or anything like that. It's just our little moments, those magic moments of everyday life are important. Iona says she's struggling to narrow her words to just one for each question. Don't worry, Iona, just choose the one maybe that kind of is most dominant for you. Okay, so what we're trying to get here is the most potent or powerful words that resonate with you. And you can have more, but for now, I would say it's good to just keep it succinct and clear. The more clear we are and the more simple things are, I find, the better. And you're not alone there. So Tatiana is saying the same. Okay, so this is a lovely quote that I actually read at my book launch. I'll just bring it up there. And it was Einstein who said it. There are only two ways to live your life. One is as though nothing is a miracle, and the other is as everything is a miracle. So that kind of goes back to what I'm talking about in terms of those small little moments, that the miracle and the magic of life is in those moments, and it has to be in those moments. Otherwise, we're missing the picture. We're missing everything if we're only looking towards those much bigger moments. It's the day-to-day living. It's the moments where we are looking to create a feeling of presence, of calmness, of love within ourselves. And that's where your intention, your overarching intention, is just like, it's like your home base. You keep coming back to it. And repetition is absolutely integral. If you just do it once, it's not going to stick. It's just not how our brains work. We need to reinforce it. And that's why so much of what I talk about is habit. And that's why I'm saying to you, you need to have it somewhere. Frozen again. Okay, I'm just going to wait. And hopefully I'll come back. Okay. I'll just wait. It's wonderful. Your husband feels the same as you feel. I'm trying to get my partner to be more positive. He calls me a guru. Oh, that's funny. What I might do. Hello, can you zoom back? Yes. Okay, great, guys. Thank you. We're just going to have to keep going with this. I'm so sorry. We'll just keep going. The quote I'll bring up again. Yes, I will. We keep going. We keep rocking on through. I'm glad I'm back. And if that happens again, we just go with it. And, again, apologies. I don't know what's going on, but we do our best. As always. So, yes, there is the quote. Okay. So it's the idea that we're looking, as I said, at those micro moments of bringing the magic of life back into the small things. And that's where really we change everything. We change our emotional state, we change our biology through repetition, through the day to day. Refresh. And thank you, Thomas. I know it isn't that easy, but we keep going. I'm sorry, Sandy. Okay. So why is it that most people give up in mid-January? Okay, so let's just focus on this for a moment, because as much as I am 100% believe in the positive, I think there is definitely room to explore why it is that so many people do give up in January. Let's have a look at the polls and see. One of the questions there was about, so have you tried to manifest in the past without success? We've only got, 41% are saying no, and 58% are saying yes. But when we look at a time when, yes, when maybe you weren't successful. No, that's not there. Okay, don't worry. We'll keep going. The point is that most people will give up because they're relying on willpower. Okay, and willpower is not designed for long-term change. Willpower is at the prefrontal cortex. It's the front of our brain, and it is actually really just the conscious mind trying to delay gratification in some way. Okay, so it's that discipline of I'm not going to have that. It's that voice in the mind that is sort of maybe more restrictive, more controlled, and really quite exhausting, and never gives us the results that we want. It's like the parent who's too controlling, and we just want to rebel against them, if that makes sense. Let me know. Hopefully I'm all back. Okay. Yes. So we want to move away from willpower, okay? Because willpower, as I said, it's short term. We want to move towards subconscious shifts. And subconscious shifts are where literally it's, again, it's anywhere between, it's hard to be completely rock solid with this, but they say between 90 to 97% of our habits and our emotions and our beliefs are living in the subconscious mind. So with that, you got to remember how if it has so much power, which it does, then it's futile to sort of ignore it and hope that willpower, the conscious mind, is going to be able to do that work for you. It's not going to be able to do the heavy lifting. It just hasn't got the skills that are required. The subconscious mind is where you are able to make long-term sustainable shifts, where it's no longer a sense of maybe discipline or deprivation or trying to force a situation, but it comes from a very natural, organic place where your brain has literally shifted. Aidan, I'm going to reread your book to keep me on the right track. Yeah, absolutely no harm, because again, we're looking at repetition. I'd read my book again, or books like it, or anything like that, that we just keep on reinforcing the message, because we need to hear it. Because, as I say, the subconscious is so powerful, and it needs that consistent care and repetition to really make that shift and make that change. And especially when you're going through, maybe when you read it, Aidan, it was a different stage in your life. So it can be good to go back to it again at a different stage. So Tatiana says, I amazingly manifest the partner I'm with. He is the best person I've ever had the fortune to live with. Thank you for sharing that, Tatiana. That is amazing. And again, really, really lovely to share, because it really lifts people up to say, well, if you could do it, I can do it. You can. Everybody here can do it as well. So that's wonderful. So talking about manifesting, 5 steps to manifesting now. Okay, so this will be interesting, Tatiana, for you to see which steps you employed or you used. And sometimes it might not even have been as strategic as that, but when you're strategic about it, and that's what I want for you this evening, is that, sorry, I'm reading Kieran's message. What I want for you is that you are actually applying those steps and being really aware, bringing it again up from the subconscious into the conscious mind. So basically, again, what I want to do is just, I'm going to bring this up into focus. The Oxford Dictionary's definition of the verb to manifest is actually very straightforward. Okay, so this is what we're really talking about. And it's important to kind of get that clarity. It is to show something clearly, especially a feeling, an attitude, or a quality. So that's really simple, isn't it? When you just look at that, and when you go back to our overarching intention, those words, what we are doing is we are showing something clearly, right? We're being really specific of what we want, and especially a feeling. So the feeling is integral. And I'm going to talk about that now in a moment, of just how important the feeling is, because that's where it all comes from. Okay, so the first step, if you think of these 5 steps, we'll actually send this out in an email tomorrow, Kieran. What do you think? So we can just reiterate it for people to have these steps there. But it's no harm to write them down as well, because the more we do it, again, the repetition, the more it's going to sink in. So the first thing is to be clear on what you want and why. Okay, so now what I'm talking about is more of that external. Okay, so for example, the book, the partner, the new job, the new house, whatever it is that you're looking for, something, maybe an external goal. Okay, we have our internal feeling and our state. Okay, but we now want to make sure that we're aligning that with what it is that we want to manifest in the external world. You want to feel the emotion of this now, and that's the key. To me, that is the key. The whole thing of manifesting is the idea that we adopt the emotional state now. You don't wait for it to happen. You don't wait for yourself to meet that partner, or to have the book published, or to open the restaurant, or to go traveling, or to buy that house. You adopt the emotion in this moment, right now. Because when you adopt it right now, that's where the change starts to happen. That's where you start to actually physically change your neurobiology. You start to manifest a whole new system within yourself of health, of wellness, of energy, of vitality. And when you have that state, guess what happens? You start to shift. You start to really change the opportunities that are available to you. Now, those opportunities are always available to you, but you don't realize it. You're not aware of it when you are caught up with being in that narrow place. We've got to feel the emotion as if it has already happened. So you feel the reward, if that makes sense. So I'm trying to share my screen here, but I keep bopping in and out. No, okay, hang on. Okay. I just want to get a split screen. Maybe Kieran, you could do that for me, Pat, is just to get a split screen. So we want to feel the emotion right now. Thank you, sweetheart. I manifested that. You want to feel the emotion in this moment. Okay, and that's what I'm going to be doing in the hypnotherapy with you this evening. I'm going to help you to feel the emotion now of whatever it is that you want externally in 2023. You feel the reward of that, right? You feel it as if it's already happening. And that is transformative because you now have the confidence, you now have the energy, the enthusiasm, the motivation. You have everything that you require to actually attain the desired outcome. From that place of lack, from that place of low energy, low self-esteem, from that place of striving, of wanting, it's just like banging your head off a wall, because you're not actually going to, your whole frequency is different. You're not going to attract the partner, you're not going to be able to come up with creative ideas. You're not going to feel the confidence to maybe go for the promotion, whatever it is that you're trying to aspire to or to achieve. So these are all the steps. If you think about my story, my own story, these are the steps that I was doing. You visualize success. And you also, again, this is the part that I think is very important, is you really start to think about, how does this help the world? And when I say help the world, it doesn't have to be some big, huge, grand thing. It can be, the idea of how it helps your community, the people around you, how it helps even your children's children that haven't been born yet. What's going to happen because you are creating this? How's it going to make the world a better place? And when you start to do that, again, the motivation becomes very high. Okay, so using I am affirmations, night and morning. Sorry, Iona, I'm just going to read your comment there. So, but aren't there some things, it's gone again, hang on there. Aren't there some things that we can't control? Absolutely. There's almost everything we can't control for health reasons or so. Or maybe what we want could be just too big. So there's two questions in that, right? And thank you, Iona, for sharing them. So the first thing I would say is everything is outside of your control, apart from this, which is ironically everything, right? How you think, how you feel, your behaviors, your choices are all in your control. Other people, situations, events, obviously, are all outside of your control. Your health is in your control, okay? In terms of your response to your health, how you respond to whatever it is, whether it's something serious or whether it's an ailment or a chronic ongoing issue. That is in your control. Maybe what we want could be just too big. Absolutely no way. Do not hold yourself back. Nothing is too big, right? If it's just even a tiny little dream in your head, it's there for a reason. And please don't ignore it, Iona, okay? It's really important. Nothing is too big. Absolutely no way. When we tell ourselves that is, again, procrastination. It's getting in our own way. Nothing is too big. Think big. There's a book called Think Big. We read it years ago, Kieran, I think. Okay, so I'm going to keep going, but I hope that helps, and anyone else here with the same kind of issues also. Okay, so use I am affirmations. Now this is where we're getting really practical. So if you remember what I'm talking about, feeling the reward now, okay? When we say I am, we are affirming it into this moment, okay? So your overarching intention starts to become 5 positive affirmations that you use in the night and in the morning. And why do you use it in those times? I wonder, does anybody know? I'm sure you do. I feel like a teacher now. And tell me now, were you listening there when you read that book? But seriously, what is it that why is it those particular times that are very pertinent? What is it about the morning, first thing in the morning, and last thing at night, that helps us? Does anybody want to let me know why you think it is that we need to affirm it at those particular times in particular? Anybody here? Kieran, you know, come on, anybody. Thank you, Tatiana. That is when the brain is most malleable and open, 1000%, right? So this is when our subconscious mind is actually at its most open and malleable, the theta brainwave, okay? So we want to get in there. It's like we want to go straight in at those moments. The subconscious mind is open. Thank you, Aisling. It sinks into the, yeah, you see, oh, you know this, lads, right? It's knowing it and doing it, right? And those are two separate things. We can know something, but we have to implement it. We have to practice it. We have to be accountable to ourselves. So please do start to affirm those things to yourself morning and night, not just once, not just for the next few weeks, but consistently. Your overarching intention is actually something that's going to help you through the whole of 2023, and you don't let it go. You don't sort of forget all about it. You keep coming back. You keep coming back. That's so important. Yes. Okay. So number 5. We're definitely going to go on a bit longer this evening, and that's okay. That's where we are. This is too important to go too fast. I really want to make the most of it for you. So number 5 is the one where we start to get really practical, and everything that we've just spoken about means nothing if you don't do number 5, and that is, of course, to take positive action. It's so logical. However, it's so important. And that is where I really look at the idea of co-creation. Okay. So whatever it is that you want, if you're not actually, it's like the whole, people say, I want to win the lottery, but they never buy a ticket. That's a kind of basic example. You need to be incredibly proactive. Like for my book, I had to go and make contacts. I had to approach publishers. If I didn't do that, all the dreaming and manifesting and imagination in the world isn't going to make a difference. You need to take those steps. However, when you have gone through the previous 4 steps, what you're going to notice is that your confidence is so much higher that it's like it's just organic. The action comes from that state. You have you've changed at an emotional level. And as a result, we're sort of so driven by our emotions that actually drives the positive action forward. And you start to find yourself doing things that you can't quite believe. I've had clients who say, I can't quite believe it. I just rang up this person and asked them, what do they think about me for this job? Or, people start to put themselves out there in ways that they never did before because they've been holding themselves back. So number 5, take positive action. Okay, so the science of manifesting. So again, what we know, right, is obviously about positive neuroplasticity. And this is something that I've trained in many years ago with Dr. Rick Hansen. And really what we're looking at is moving from state to trait. Okay, so the more that we stay with a positive emotion, the more it starts to actually literally change the networks in our brain, the synapses in our brain. And that actually then again starts to shift the subconscious. So it's not just, wishful thinking. There's real solid science there to show that repetition works. And again, like I said, those 2 times a day, okay, when we're moving from that kind of slumber state into the waking state, or from the waking state into the sleep state. And particularly the nighttime is really powerful. So allowing yourself to go to sleep with a very positive affirmation is really helpful. Never go to sleep without a suggestion to your subconscious, a positive suggestion to your subconscious mind. It just absolutely change your life. Okay, so Carol Dweck. Now, the other part of this, if you look again back to the story that I told you, and the reason I keep going back to that is just an example to show you how those steps were in place. And the words "not yet" are really important. So if you don't already know Carol Dweck's work on growth mindset, this is where we're looking at effort over result, okay? And you're not necessarily focused on the end result, but you're focused on the effort that you are putting into that. And "not yet" is 2 powerful words, okay? I haven't got the book published, not yet, but it's going to happen, right? So the belief is there. Okay, and then the imagination. This is the part again that, those of you who have done a lot of hypnotherapy will know, is that basically your imagination is so powerful that it doesn't know the difference, okay? Your subconscious mind does not know the difference between imagination and reality. So when you close your eyes and you imagine something and you see a place, your whole body starts to take that on. It starts to feel that. And that's where we start to change our chemical response. So it has the same difference, okay, in terms of when you're imagining something and when you're really there. And that's why it's so powerful, and why, especially with people who suffer from anxiety, and I know myself in the past, how our imagination can work against us to such detriment, because we can imagine the worst possible scenarios. And when we do that, again, it's manifesting in reverse. It's like the worst thing starts to happen. Stress response, the negative hormones are induced. And what we want to do is we're always flipping that around. We're always bringing it to the more positive. Your night audio recording, Fiona, puts me to sleep every night. Yes, I know, it makes me laugh. I've put a lot of people to sleep. I've been in a lot of beds across the world, which is brilliant. Thank you for saying that, Patricia. So what I want you to do, not right now, but this is something that I want you to consider after the webinar, and the next, maybe straight after, but certainly tomorrow and the coming days, is I want you to be specific and strategic. So we have the overarching intention. That's, as I said, your springboard, okay? That's your foundation. And I want you to create 3 personal micro goals and 3 professional micro goals for yourself for 2023. So be really specific, okay? It's not like I want to get healthier. That doesn't mean anything. We have to be really specific. What does it mean to get healthier? What are you going to do? How is that going to actually be implemented into your everyday life? We don't want it to be wishful thinking. We want it to be real and actionable. So be specific. I'm going to, go running every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings before work. That's how specific it needs to be. Then it needs to go into your journal or your calendar. If you have calendars for appointments and meetings, put that in. I always say it. Put it in. It's not just an optional. It's not like, yes, maybe. It's in the diary, and therefore it's an appointment and you can't miss it. In the same way you wouldn't miss an appointment for someone you love. If you're bringing your daughter to her swimming class or whatever it might be, your son to football, you turn up and you do it, and you do the same for yourself, okay? So that is something that I want you to do, but taking your overarching intention and then setting your micro goals. And it's important to really, small steps are very significant, okay? So that we're not looking to put pressure or to have unrealistic expectations of yourself. And that going back to what, the question Iona said, is anything too big? Nothing is too big when it's broken down. It's like, the famous thing, how do you eat an elephant? Piece by piece, bit by bit. Nothing is too big, but we have to go at it incrementally and not overwhelm ourselves, but really to acknowledge every single step of progress. Okay, so the obstacle is the way. This is an important thing as well, again, about manifesting, because so many people, when they meet challenges, when they, for example, the book publisher says no, oh, that's it, then this book is no good, or, the date didn't happen, or somebody didn't call back, or, the job promotion didn't come through, or the sale of the house wasn't successful. The obstacle is the way. The obstacle is always the way. And what happens is, and really this, I sort of first really started to embrace this many years ago through Deepak Chopra's The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success, which is like a little Bible to me. I love that book. And one of the things he talks about is to see the opportunity in every problem. So as soon as a problem arises, even like tonight, right, the glitches with the webinar, there's an opportunity there. And what is the opportunity? The opportunity is for me to embrace it, to remain calm, to do my best, and to continue going. Right? So we're always looking. Life is going to throw challenges, obstacles at us all the time. And there's just no doubt about it. That is part of being alive. But when you have a whole new mindset towards that, when you start to see, oh, okay, so that didn't go as I had hoped. Well, I'll find another way. And that's where the tenacity comes in. That's where that drive, that determination, that single focus, that, like I was talking about earlier, the dartboard, right? Where nobody or nothing, including yourself, stops you from moving forward. That's integral. Okay, so please do remember this as you go through the year. When things are not moving as you had hoped, doesn't mean your manifestation isn't working. It just simply means that the obstacle is showing you something, right? It might show you something in a slightly different direction, but that's okay. Okay, so thank you, Breed. I'm just briefly reading that. That sounds lovely. Manifesting hypnotherapy. So I'm going to do this in a moment. Before I do, I'm going to have some water and I'm going to ask Kieran to come on and share with you our vision and some of the amazing ideas and events that we have planned for 2023. There you are. Hi, sweetheart.
Thanks so much, Fiona. That was absolutely brilliant. I mean, I can attest to your 5-step treatment of manifestation and intention setting, because I was in a situation a year and a half ago whereby I wanted to leave my permanent job in the civil service and to do something more meaningful, which transpired was working with you and reaching out and helping as many people as possible. And I have to say, it does work, and it worked for me. I overcame the fear, I took the plunge, and I haven't looked back since. And it's wonderful to be here. And I'm really excited now to share with you some of our plans for 2023. And they fit in with Fiona's overarching intentions, because as she mentioned at the start of the call, an important one is to reach out and to help as many people as possible. That's always been the case, but with Fiona's clinic being fully booked all of the time and a huge waiting list, it's a challenge. And so we've come up with a new concept. It's not entirely new. Some of you may know of therapy on the couch that Fiona did on Instagram for a year and a half. We're taking that to a new format, and we're going to expand it out, and it's very exciting. It starts on the 23rd of January. It runs every Monday night, except the Monday nights that we'll be holding these Building Emotional Resilience webinars. So effectively, 3 weeks out of 4, we'll be holding the therapy on the couch on a Monday evening, 7:30 till 8:30. And all the details can be found on the website, thepositivehabit.com. That we're really looking forward to, and I think that's going to make a big impact and a big difference to people. As I say, details are on the website. The other thing, just conscious of time here, a couple of things I just want to mention. One of them is the Light Up 2023 retreat, which we are running again this year in Crete. We still have 3 spaces available, and we would love to see some of you along on that retreat. It's a week long. It's really transformative, and it's very, very exciting. So if you're interested, again, have a look at thepositivehabit.com and you'll get all the details there. I will be happy to take calls from people, to a discovery call to discuss, if you have any further questions in relation to that. I'd be delighted to help you. And the other thing is, other news upcoming, and we'll try and keep you in the loop on this, is another retreat that we're going to be running. This one is a 1-day retreat, and it's going to be here in Ireland, in Wicklow, on the 2nd of April, I think, Fiona, that's right, isn't it? 2nd of April. And details have yet to be released of that. And again, it's a case of watch the space and look at the website and Fiona's Instagram. But again, that's an exciting thing, and hopefully we'll have a reasonable number of people there at that retreat. Fiona has writing plans also for this year, big writing plans. Now, she's already spoken about her 2 previous books. I can't give you any more details than that at present, but again, watch the space. She is going to be quite busy with a couple of projects on the way in the early development stages. And the last thing I'd just mentioned here again, and it's very early development, but it will appear at some point, hopefully later this year, is we're looking at developing an academy training program for people who are interested in becoming hypnotherapists and using Fiona's techniques and methods that she's successfully used with thousands of people over the last 10 years. So again, it's a case of watch this space, and more details will come out. that's it, really. I'll hand you back to Fiona and her very capable hands. And great to see you all on the call, folks, and Happy New Year.
Thanks, Kieran. You're so good and lovely to have you. I think it's really important that we see more of Kieran in 2023. He's just too precious and amazing to be behind the scenes. So you'll definitely be seeing more of Kieran as well. That is our intention. So I'm going to get straight into the hypnotherapy now. I realize we're a little bit over, but it doesn't matter. This is important. This is the beginning of a whole new year, and we're going to make it the best year yet. So without further ado, let's close down our eyes. Take a full deep breath. Hold the breath at the top, open up the eyes and close them down. Start to feel your whole body soften and relax. It may surprise you to notice how relaxed you can be, how easy it can be to open to all of the positive suggestions that you're going to hear of why you're here, of how clear things can be when you start to surrender and let go. We're going to go deeper each time we open and close our eyes. Each time you will notice yourself dropping and drifting to that place within you where everything is possible, where all of your hopes, your dreams are already a reality. So when you're ready and in your own time, take that full breath. Hold at the top, open the eyes, close them down and really start to drop. I want you to imagine you're just looking down. So allow your head to drop down. Allow your gaze to drop towards your heart and feel a softening, a relaxing going through your whole system. We're going to do that one more time and you're going to notice yourself going 5 times deeper. So when you're ready and in your own precious time, take that breath. Raise the head as you take the breath. Hold at the top. Open the eyes, close the eyes, and now drop down. Drop the gaze, drop the eyes, drop the head. Everything drops. And you're completely just letting go. You're floating through time, through space, and you find yourself in an incredible place in nature, a place that you love. Maybe it's the beach. Maybe it's the mountains, a lake, a river. Find yourself there now. Open all of your senses to this place. The sounds that you hear, the air that you breathe, the colors that you see. Reach out and touch something and feel the touch in your fingers. And that touch relaxes you further and deeper still. As you start to imagine yourself drifting to sleep, you're not going to sleep, but let's imagine, let's pretend that you're sleeping and you dream. And when you dream, everything is possible, anything. You are infinite. So you're dreaming. And in this dream, you see this amazing person coming towards you. And this is your future self. I want you to imagine that your future self is walking towards you. And it is the 2nd of January, 2024. It is 1 year from now. And you're really just noticing that this person, this vision in front of you is everything you could have dreamed of. You see her, you see him, and you see that energy within them. The intention that you set 1 year ago, they are the living, breathing, walking example of that intention. They are full of health, wellness, vitality, love, calmness. They are inspiring. They are calm. They are confident. They are every single word in your own personal intention. And it is 1 year from now. And as soon as you see them, you make eye contact. And as soon as you make eye contact, as you go deeper, relax, you start to feel all the flood of those positive emotions now. It's already happened. Everything that you hoped, everything that you planned is a reality. There is the walking, talking example of this right here, right now. And they take a moment and they just look at you. And you look at them. And you realize that you are one and the same. How they feel is how you feel. How they behave in the world is how you behave in the world. How they wake up in the morning, how they go to bed at night, how they make other people feel, how they are making the world a better place is all the things that you are also feeling, doing, creating, manifesting. It's happened. It's already here. Soak in the reward of those positive emotions and do not let them go. This is your moment, your life, and it's 1000% precious, significant, and matters. And I want you to really feel that determination, that motivation, that no matter what happens, no matter what obstacles arise, no matter what other people say, no matter what negative thoughts you may have, you're going to keep coming back to this place. This is your home. This is where you belong. This is the 2nd of January, 2023. It's a brand new year and you are exactly where you need to be. Living your life with intention, on purpose, manifesting what you desire, what you deserve, and what makes this world a brighter, more beautiful place for everyone. So imagine now standing under a shower of those positive emotions, soaking them in. This is your reality. Just allow it to happen and then notice in the coming days, weeks, months of this year how proactive you are, how you take positive steps each and every day to honor this commitment. In the morning, your affirmations, at the nighttime, your affirmations, your intention is clear. You're like a ship who's sailing towards a destination. Clarity. With clarity for where you are now. So in a moment, I am going to simply count upwards slowly for 1 to 3. And on the count of 3, not before, your eyes will open. So when you're ready, and in your own time, keeping that emotion strong, don't let it go. Take a deep breath. Exhale fully. You're going to sleep beautifully tonight. As we breathe in for 2, letting go. And that final deep breath for 3. And a full long exhale as we slowly and in our own time open up the eyes. So thank you so much, everyone. Sorry, there was a bit of noise there in the background. So listen, everyone, that is integral. Come back to that. This is going to be recorded for you, okay? So you can actually use this as a tool. the most important thing, if I can bring it all together for you, is that you feel the reward now. Okay, that is what is actually making the significant difference. This is already happening. Just allow it to be. Trust it's all within you. And I'm going to see you next. The next Building Emotional Resilience is actually with an amazing international guest, which I'll announce in the coming weeks, all the way from Australia. So thank you so much, everyone, for staying with me, for being here. You've just been brilliant. The chat has been on fire. There's been so much positive energy coming from you. And we're going to do this. Join me for Therapy on the Couch. I'm with you every month of this year, every week of this year, doing our best collectively to lift each other up. And Happy New Year. Love you lots and thank you. And see you soon. Bye.